Hello, I'm Clarise Starling and you're my severance package and welcome to yet another belated record ramble. This time we're going through everything I did buy half a year ago in October. Let's get right into it. This was the month that I went to see Segall and Jordaan at the Horse Museum live. Segall was doing residencies all over the globe, playing First Taste in its entirety and a different album every night in its entirety. And we had tickets to Melted, Goodbye Bread and Manipulator. And at the first show, the Melted show, I got this, which is Pigman Lives Volume 1. It's all of Ty's demos from 2007 to 2017, which includes his old demo album. But this is basically a quadruple album of old demo takes. A really eclectic mix of studio demos and home recorded demos. Really great combination of crust and none. But also this month, relatedly, Michael Cronin's new album Seeker came out. The day it was released, I was on a mountain in Ireland, or the day it was announced, sorry. I was on a mountain in Ireland and I immediately clicked the pre-order the most expensive one button. And so I got the record on green vinyl and also the bonus track Arsonist, which is more like an EP because it's in 4 movements. It's about 16.5 minutes long. New garage punk, but also moving into sort of like country-ish, but also like, you know, lots of harmonica, lots of 7th chords. Not a perfect album by any means, but some really great tracks. Sold is one of my favourite Michael Cronin songs and it comes off this album. I sold my Goodbye Bread tickets because suddenly I realised that Saturday night I also had another gig which I would rather be going to, which is the Jordaan and the Horse Museum Divorce Lawyers I Shave My Head 10th Anniversary Tour, where they played their entire album in its entirety. And back when I was about 16, James from Crywank retweeted a link to this album on his Twitter account, which was one of the only accounts I was following at the time, and I clicked through and immediately adored what I heard of this album. I thought it was like exactly what I was looking for a folk punky emotional album. When this record was released, I really wanted to get a copy, but they were only shipping, well, the shipping from Canada was like 17 quid, which is just slightly too out of my young man price range. But going to see them live, having them play the entire album and being able to buy a copy of the double album on heavyweight vinyl was an absolute godsend, and I'm really glad I was there. Apparently I'm on a real Mount Eerie microphones binge, because in 3 concurrent videos we've had Phil Elverum records, but I decided to pick up Lanterns, an old microphone 7-inch, and Lost Wisdom, one of my favourite Mount Eerie albums, collaboration between guitarist Fred Squire, Julie Doiron, and Phil himself. These are mostly songs from Dawn, from last month's video, with a few tiny added extras. That's because Julie Doiron was apparently just swinging through town and said, "Yo Phil, I know Eric's Trip is one of your biggest influences, would you like to record an album with us?" And he said, "Yeah, right, let me just fix Michael." I wonder when he fell.
I don't know, I didn't notice.
Oh.
Michael, no.
There we go, I saw him in the viewfinder. So I decided to pick this up. From the same seller, I also decided to get these two. I picked up Olivia Tremor Control, Black Foliage music for Animation Volume 1. This is one of my favourite Beatles albums that was never released by the Beatles. Really fantastic psych rock, acid trip of an album. Really great pop songs twinged with Elephant Six, like, production style. And I also got Menomena, 7-inch. Basically this has Wet and Rusting on it, which is one of the first songs Spotify ever recommended me back when I was like 16. So even though it's not an outstanding song, it was like 3 quid and I was already buying a shit ton of records from the seller. So I picked this up as a little bonus. So at the end of October, my sister took me and my lovely editor to Brighton for a weekend. And while I was there, I picked up a few things, including 2001 Space Odyssey soundtrack. This basically has one of my favourite classical pieces, Lux Eterna by Ligeti on it. So that's one reason to get this. Also, I got the Stills Still in Love song. This the album this is from, Logic Will Break Your Heart, is really hard to get hold of. I haven't been able to find a copy of it in the wild, and it's quite expensive online, like 100 quid or whatever. So there are 3 singles released from this album, and I have the other 2. And this was the only one I hadn't ordered online, and I found it, you know, for 50p, and so it was quite outstanding to be able to find it just randomly. And then I got 2 cassettes. First one I got was Tubular Bells. It's like the 3rd version of Tubular Bells I've got now. Have it on vinyl and the orchestrated version on cassette, which is absolutely shit. So I thought I'd get, you know, just a regular copy of Tubular Bells on cassette. Found it in a charity shop. The second one is the Reader's Digest Country Superstars 1. Johnny Cash on side 1 and Marty Robbins on side 2. The funny thing about this cassette is I hosted a party, and during the party someone nicked just the cover to this. So now I've got a loose fucking Reader's Digest cassette boshing about, and I have no clue where the case or the slipcover is for it. So whoever has that, cheers, I guess. And finally, the Bright Eyes Casadega CD. This is the album they did after I'm Wide Awake It's Morning and Digital Ash and Digital Learn. And one of my lecturers said that my music sounds an awful lot like this album. And when he said that, I already had this album, but I hadn't heard it yet. So I went and listened to this and then immediately put 2 and 2 together and thought it was really weird. So, yeah, picked that up. That's it for 5 months ago, October. If you enjoyed the video, please like, please subscribe, please follow on Instagram, CSSP Music. And if you want to listen to any of the albums I've talked about today, here's a link to the Spotify playlist, and it's in the description. 1 song from each album. I've been Clarise Starling, and you're my severance package. Thank you. Finally, at the end of this
wait,
month...
you didn't clap, so how am I supposed to know? It's just going to be on the audio.